fourth graders, we're going to keep reading. I know I took a little hiatus, and that's because when we talked last Friday, it sounded like a lot of people needed time to catch up. I'm going to keep recording so that if you are caught up now, you can keep going. And hopefully by tomorrow, everyone will be caught up, okay? So, this is chapter 22. Reminder, in chapter 21, we were with Mo and Dale during the time that they were waiting for Slate to call them on the phone. And Deputy Marla was trying to tap his phone line so that she could actually track where he was and where he was making the call from. It didn't work, unfortunately, and we did find out that he's holding Miss Lana for ransom, which means he's expecting an amount of money from them in order to give Miss Lana back. And that amount of money was $500,000. And they were like, there is no way we have $500,000. And we don't know why he would think that we have $500,000. But Mo remembers this old, rumor that was going around when the Colonel first came to town, which is that he washed up with a giant suitcase full of money. So, Slate is working under the impression that they have a lot of money and they don't. So that's where we left off. Let's keep going. Chapter 22 is called A Town Full of Nobodies. I woke up snuggled deep in Mrs. Rose's feather bed. Sunlight filtered through her lace-trimmed curtains and played along the faded wallpaper. Mo, Dale whispered, rapping softly on the door. Are you awake? Yeah, I called. Come on in. He peeked around the door. Have you finished barfing? Dale cannot tolerate other people throwing up. He gets what's known as synchronized heaves. Lavender says if they could make it an Olympic sport, Dale would be an automatic for gold. He placed a paper towel-covered plate on my bedside. It's a tomato sandwich, he said. I made it for you the way you like it. Fat, homegrown tomatoes, double mayo, salt, and pepper. Dale and Miss Rose, they eat a lot of homegrown. They start their seeds early in a hot box around the back. Thanks, I said. I'm starving. I polished off the sandwich in record time. I wiped my mouth and I settled back against the pillows. It's quiet, I said. Where is everybody? Well, Mama went to Snow Hill to see a lawyer, he said. A lawyer? Who's in jail this time? No, nobody's in jail. It's about getting Daddy moved out for good, he said, not meeting my eyes. She said not to worry, so I'm trying not to. Dale can choose not to worry, like he chooses not to wear socks. Miss Lana says that I have more of a Jack Russell brain. I think things apart for sport. I glanced at the clock on the mantel. Miss Rose needs to wind her clock, I said. No, he said. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning is right. I sat bolt upright. It's Friday morning? Yeah, you slept all Thursday afternoon and all night, too. Mama says that you were worn slam out from worrying so much. Friday? My life settled in around me, like a net of bad dreams. I couldn't believe it. And have they found Miss Lana yet? No, not yet, he said, looking away. And the Colonel? He shook his head. I stared at the embroidery on Miss Rose's bedspread until I was sure that I wouldn't cry. Well, where's Starred? Where's Deputy Marla? I said. Well, he's in town, and she's in the living room. Starr says that Marla can handle Slate if he calls, he said. He perched gingerly on the side of my bed, leaving himself a shot to the door. I tried to settle down. It's a pretty room, Miss Rose's, with no sign of Dale's daddy in it at all. An old-time clock on the mantel, a soft-bottomed chair by the open window, and a desk against the wall. A gust of wind sent papers fluttering from the desk to the floor. I got it, he said, rising and patting across the worn wool rug. But I got there first, and I scooped up the pamphlets, glad to have something new to focus on. Hey, are you all going on vacation? His face lit up. I don't know, are we? Oh, looks like it, I said, scanning the brochures. Farm Life Museum, a tobacco museum. I don't know, it sounds boring. All right, so don't come with us, he said, taking them from my hands. Come on, Mo. Mama didn't take your barfing self into her room so that you could rummage through her stuff, he said, pulling the desktop down. I gotta water Cleo, and I gotta fix the broken down stuff in the barn. Do you want to watch? We can discuss Miss Lana's case, he said. I'm not much for watching, I said, sliding my feet into my sneakers, but I'll come help ya. I opened the door and I ran square into Deputy Marla. What are you doing here? I asked, uneasiness trickling back into my neck. Me? She grinned, tucking her hair behind her ear. I was coming to check on you. How are you feeling, Mo? Oh, better, I said. Jumpy, I guess. Has Slate called? No, she nodded her head calmly. But he will. We're ready for him, and we still have other people searching. No news is good news, right? It sure didn't feel that way to me. Slate wants money. Why hasn't he called? I asked. She slid her arm across my shoulder. Come have a glass of tea with me, she said, herding me toward the kitchen. Both of you. She followed around the kitchen and flowed about like it was her own, filling glasses with ice as Dale and I sat at the table. She slid each of us a glass of tea and sat beside me. Mo, she said, I've been thinking. Slate believes that the Colonel has a ton of money. Her eyes searched my face. That means, a safe or a lockbox or a bank book. Do you have any idea? No, I ain't heard of it at all, I told her. $500,000 is crazy. Why would the Colonel have that much money? Yeah, Dale said, and he spit an ice cube bag into his glass. The only way that he could get that much money would be to rob the Colonel ain't a thief, I said, understanding what he was going to say. Deputy Marla tilted her head, watching me. No, I don't think he is either, she said, but Slate is asking for $500,000. Which is exactly what he and an accomplice stole in Winston-Salem 12 years ago. Seems like an odd coincidence, wouldn't you say? I would, since the money from Slate's heist was never recovered. I didn't answer. Mo, she said, it's hard being alone. I know. I want to find the Colonel and I want to find Miss Lana for you, so please try to remember anything that the Colonel said or has done that might help us. A bank account, a hiding place, anything. It's important. Dale leaned away from her. She already said she don't know, he said. Plus, Mo's a kid. If somebody's thinking, I think it should be you and Star. She hesitated. Of course, she said softly, and she slid her hand onto mine. I'm sorry, sweetie, she said. Sometimes I go overboard trying to help. Well, tell me what you two have planned for the day. I pulled my hand away. We got chores. You want to come? Dale offered, and he pointed out the window to his mule. He pointed out the window to his mule, Cleopatra, who stood in the pasture munching on grass. Cleo, she's a great mule. She's half Tennessee Walker. You can water her if you'd like. Deputy Marla's grin made her look younger. I just might take you up on that one day. Where are you two working? We'll be at the old tobacco barn, he said. She poured herself another glass of tea. Well, stay where I can see you, and if anything happens, you call me, you understand? I'm stuck by the phone until Slate calls. So we headed for the door. That was weird, Dale said, as Queen Elizabeth slunk out of the hiding place and fell in behind us. What's all that about her knowing what it's like to be alone? Oh, I said, she's an orphan. She told me. He frowned. Why would she tell you that? Because I told her about my upstream mother and how I ain't found her yet. I said, Deputy Marla and I, we got a lot in common. He snorted. No, you don't. She's playing you. Playing me? Why would she? There's nothing to win by doing that. Yes, there is. You just can't name it yet, he said. Believe me, she's as much a con as my Uncle Mike, and he's doing 3 to 5 in prison right now. You just don't trust her because she's law enforcement, I said. He shrugged. Well, suit yourself. He slung a stick into the tobacco field. Go fetch it, Liz, he said. Good girl. And we walked the rest of the way in silence. Skeeter showed up half an hour later, swinging a battered attaché case. That means like a battered briefcase. Hey, she said. I caught a ride with Mama so I wouldn't mess up your phone tap. She brought y'all a broccoli casserole. Suddenly I gasped. Broccoli casserole? That's your Mama's death dish, Dale said, looking up from the tangle of worn plow lines at his feet. Who died? What have you heard? No, nobody, she said quickly. Gosh. I'm sorry, Mo. Everything's fine. We didn't know what to bring for a kidnapping, but it seems to come for people when somebody, does go away. Anyway, I hope you like it. Thanks, I said, my heart finding its usual pace. That's nice of you. She opened her briefcase. Anyway, I wanted to report. We checked those serial numbers, Mo. The C-note from the church, it is hold-up money. Dale whistled. So Mr. Jesse was in on the heist. Well, he at least was in on the loot, she said. But the $5 bill from above the door of the cafe, that one was clean. It was? Suddenly I felt like $500,000, even if I couldn't lay my hands on it. Oh, that's great. $5 bill? Dale asked. What 5? Tell you later, I said. All right, Skeeter, thank you so much. Don't thank me, she said. My cousin at the bank's drive-thru couldn't do a thing. Thank Anna Celeste. Her great aunt, on her mother's side, runs a bank in Wilmington. Sal talked to her for you. She glanced at the house. Deputy Marla and Skeeter's mother were walking to the van, chatting like old friends. Well, all right, I'll see you, desperados. As Skeeter strolled away, Dale picked up a snarl of old reins and began teasing the knot apart. I could feel the anger rolling off of his silence. Now what? Oh, right, of course, it must be the $5 bill. Well, I guess you're wondering about the 5 spot, I said. He didn't look up. It's the emergency 5 for my suitcase. It's like the one above the cafe. The one that's always been there. I kind of thought it might be a clue. And you didn't tell me because? I don't know, I said. Even to me it sounded like a lie. Because you thought the colonel was in on the heist, so you had the numbers run without telling me, he said, his voice flat. What if it had come back the other way? What if it was part of the loop? Were you going to tell me then? When I didn't answer, he shook his head. I thought we were partners, he said. We are partners, Dale. I didn't tell you because, I don't know. I should have, though, I said. His fingers worked at the knot, tugging and pulling. Give me a break, Dale. Deputy Marla is right. If I can't figure this out, I'm alone, and I got nobody except for my upstream mother that I can't even find. Nobody? He dropped the reins and he stared at me, so angry that his lips went pale. You got people driving out here to sit with you, bringing you food. You got Skeeter helping. You got Sal breaking her family rules for you. You even got Anna Celeste helping, and she can't stand you. You got me and Mama and Lavender. You have got a town full of nobodies, in case you haven't noticed, he said, his voice picking up steam. And I'm sick of hearing about your upstream mother. You think you're the only person that ever got thrown away, he said. You think Anna Celeste doesn't get thrown away every time her mother looks razor blades at her? You don't think I get thrown away every time my daddy... My daddy... He clamped his mouth shut, and he sat there, looking like a tired, angry old man. Then he jumped to his feet, and he brushed past me, heading for the house. An hour later, I tapped on the door of Lavender's old room. Dale. I turned the porcelain knob, and I pushed, and the door opened just a whisper. Can I come in, please? If you want to, he said, his voice like frost. He sat sideways in an overstuffed chair by the window, his legs over the chair's arm, leafing through a back issue of the NASCAR Illustrated magazine. Liz was curled up at the bottom of his chair. I'm sorry, I said. Really? He said, squinting at a photograph. I sighed, because Dale can be real stubborn sometimes. I know how much you and Miss Rose and Lavender do for me, I said, and I appreciate it. And I know this ain't a great time for you all with your daddy acting the way he is. He turned to Paige. I know that he hit you, Dale. He shrugged. Nobody said anything about... I've seen the marks, and if he ever tries to do that around me, I will take him down. He cocked an eyebrow at me. I'm a born scrapper, plus I got karate skills. He looked up finally. He's twice as big as you are, Mo. And he ain't like Mr. Lee at karate night. When he hits, he means it. And it's getting worse. That's why Mama threw him out. Well, Mr. Lee says that no matter how big the enemy, don't hit him unless you aim to kill him, Mo, he said, looking at me full in the face. I mean it. I could hear myself swallow. Hey, I got an idea, he said, his voice flat. Let's talk about something you actually know about. Like, I don't know, that $5 bill. I sat on the edge of Lavender's old bed and I looked around. It was a used-to-be room full of kid stuff that was left behind. Well, when Starr said that he'd run the serial numbers on the dollar bill over the cafe's door, that 5 was the only other piece of old money that I could think of, and I didn't tell you because... I stared at the rug. I don't know, I was ashamed. He closed the magazine. What, of the Colonel? Of me, for not being sure. I don't know. I'm sorry, I said. I hope that you'll forgive me. And I looked out the window, and a bedsheet flapped on Mrs. Rose's wash line. He propped his chin on his hands, and he studied me, his blue eyes serious in his freckled face, and then like sunlight after rain. Okay, he said, I forgive you. Dale kills me. Just like that? I never forgive. I love revenge too much. Yeah, he said, I'm a Baptist, so far, fast, or never is the only speed I go with forgiving. But from here on, Mo, if we're partners, we're partners. And if we're not, we're not. You decide, and you decide right now. Partners, I said. He jumped up. Good. Let's give Queen Elizabeth a bath, because Lavender's coming for supper, and I want her to smell good. Dale, I said, you're the best friend that I got. I know, he grinned. Come on, Desperado, you wash and I'll dry. Dear upstream mother, it's nighttime and everyone's asleep. There's still no word from the Colonel or Miss Lana, and I feel like a sky without stars. Dale and I had a fight today, and then we made up and we gave Queen Elizabeth II a bath. Lavender came for supper, and he wore jeans and his chambray shirt with the sleeves rolled up. Lavender and Sam drive to Sycamore tomorrow, almost to the mountains, to race in the Sycamore 200. He says his car runs great and looks like $1,000,000 with all the ads that we printed on it. Deputy Marla came too. In fact, she mashed the potatoes for dinner. Congratulations on achieving your dreams, she told Lavender. That must feel great. Lavender spooned green onions into his turnip greens. Yeah, it does. But dreams are shapeshifters. You get close to one, and before you can lay a hand on it, it changes. She smiled the way that women always smile at Lavender, but I can tell she secretly thinks he's crazy. Well, the hurricane has turned towards Charleston. I hope Cousin Gideon will be okay. And I got 3 bottles ready for launch. 2 of them are blue, and one's a clear one. Lavender's dropping my bottles on his way west. You might at least see one drift by. I hope you won't mind, but the message now says, lost. Miss Lana, 36 years old. 5'6", red hair, 130 pounds. Last seen wearing a black wig and a red kimono. Please contact Mo in Tupelo Landing. 252-555-4663. And if you see Miss Lana, please tell her. Please tell her, because I'm pretty sure the Colonel can take care of himself. From Mo. There you go.